Greetings, booktubers. Welcome back to Grammaticus Books. Welcome to a Sunday Comics edition of Grammaticus Books, where we are going to be doing Marvel Treasury Editions. Now, initially, I had intended to do a video solely on Marvel Treasury Edition number 4, Conan the Barbarian, and then I realized that Michael K Vaughan had beat me to the punch, and he's already done a complete video on this issue right here. In addition to Michael K Vaughan having done an issue, also Steve Donoghue has done a video on this issue as well. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to just widen our scope a bit, and we're going to do Marvel Treasury Editions in general. But I will get to this one because of the 4 Marvel Treasury Editions that I own, and I'll go over all 4 of them here in some detail. This is by far and away the best one. So when I get to this one here, I'll save this one for last. I'm going to try to point out a few things that may or may not have been brought out in Michael K Vaughan and Steve Donoghue's videos, and hopefully I can present some new information on it, and plus bring this a great great issue here of Marvel Treasury Editions to your guys' attention here on the channel today. But Marvel Treasury Editions, they started in 1974. They were oversized reprints of previous Marvel comics that they would bring out. They would put into these Marvel Treasury Editions and market them for $1.50 starting off in 1974. And this is back when comics were priced between 15 and 20 cents. So $1.50 for this oversized Treasury Editions, it was a lot of money, but you got a lot for your money. And again, these were all reprints that they were doing. They would just reprint regular comics in this oversized format that measured 10 inches across by 14 inches high. So that when you open these things up, you had a 20-inch spread of graphic comic books right there in front of you. It was the 1974 edition of the big screen TV for comic books. And it was great. And they would usually throw in a couple of extras into these Marvel Treasury Editions as well. So you got your money's worth. And they were really nice. They were great to collect and have. And I've got 4 of them. I had 6 at one point. Now I'm down to 4. But let's go ahead. Let's jump into it. And let's go into my Marvel Comics Treasury Editions here, starting off with number 21, which is the Fantastic Four Behold Galactus. Now this one right here, it's got this great cover here by John Buscema. This is reprints of Fantastic Four issues 120 through 123. And it is, as it says, Galactus returning to Earth here with his herald Gabriel and the Silver Surfer. So you've got the Fantastic Four, you've got Galactus, you've got Heralds and the Silver Surfer all together here in this one, collecting issues of 120 through 123. I was thinking it was only issue number 122, but it goes to 123. And it's really good. It's done by John Buscema. The story's by Stan Lee, and the story is excellent. And you've got this great additional artwork on the back of it. That is a little add-on here in this issue number 21 of Marvel Treasury Edition. And it's good stuff. It's Galactus and the Fantastic Four battling it out on Earth for the fate of the Heralds, the Silver Surfer. And the story is really good in this one. I enjoyed it quite a bit. But when you're talking Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer, and Galactus all together in one comic book, there's really only one person to do the artwork, to do the pencils on it. And that is, of course, Jack King Kirby. Jack King Kirby would have done fantastic on this. It's not a knock on John Buscema at all. John Buscema's an excellent artist on the Fantastic Four. But I think when you have all of those characters combined, that Jack King Kirby would have been a better pick for this. But this is still a really nice Marvel Treasury Edition here at number 21 that was published back in 1978. If I'm not mistaken. And that takes us to Marvel Treasury Edition number 23, which is also a Conan the Barbarian. This is a retelling of Conan on the Cross, which is from the Robert E. Howard story, And a Witch Shall Be Born. Again, you get some nice additional artwork here on the back in order to promote this. And this was a reprint of Savage Sword of Conan, number 11, which is right here, with this pretty decent Boris Vallejo cover on it for that Savage Sword. And this took that Savage Sword, which is a black and white magazine, blows it up into that 10-inch by 14-inch oversized format that is just so huge and tremendous. That's what really sold these, was the oversized format that was just wonderful to look at. And it reprints And a Witch Shall Be Born. Once again, we got John Buscema doing the pencils. This time we've got Roy Thomas doing a wonderful adaptation of Robert E. Howard's story, And a Witch Shall Be Born, with Conan on the cross. But in this case, they've colorized it. They've colorized the Savage Sword issue, which was black and white. And when John Buscema penciled it and it was inked in, they knew that they were penciling and inking for what was going to be a black and white production. And it was designed to maximize all of the strengths of a black and white graphic novel. And colorizing it, I think, actually takes a little something off of the story. And I'll show you what I mean. So here you've got just a superbly drawn panel down here by John Buscema, showing the debauchery of the new court of Queen Taramis after she's replaced by her witch sister. And it's decent, but when you look at it in the original in black and white, over here, there it is in black and white, and they knew that they were working for black and white. It just, to me, has visually a stronger impact. It jumps off the page more, and it looks better than the colorized version. So for this issue here, number 23 from 1979, I actually like the original better. And the original is also in a larger format, and it comes across with a little better artwork. The artwork just looks crisper, less diluted without the colors that they put in here in the Marvel Treasury Edition on that one. So that was kind of a bust, maybe a slight bust. It's still cool. I still like it. And that takes us to my fourth Marvel Treasury, or third, I should rather. I can't count today. My third Marvel Treasury Edition, which is the Astonishing Spider-Man, which reprints several of the Spider-Man Marvel team-ups that he did back in the 1970s. This is from 1978, issue number 18. The price has gone up to $2 at this point. And again, you get some nice original artwork on the back. And these are all the villains that appear here in these team-ups. The team-ups that you get in this one is you get Spider-Man and the X-Men and Iron Fist, Werewolf by Night, and you get Ghost Rider. And the first one is the best. The first team-up here with Spidey and the X-Men together is by far and away the best story, and it's the best artwork in here because it's Gil Kane doing the pencils, and Gil Kane is just phenomenal. And you have, I think it's Roy Thomas, let me double check that. Gil Kane, editor Roy Thomas. The story is Jerry Conway. Jerry Conway, who did a number of the Marvel tales. And you have Morbius in here as well as the villain. And here's Spider-Man dreaming of the vampire Morbius. Wonderful stuff. Gil Kane is awesome. I love Gil Kane. He just has such fluid figures when he draws them. His women look great. His action is fantastic. That would help. There we go. You guys can see a little bit better here. And he just is just a wonderful penciler. One of my favorite pencilers in the Marvel universe. And here you've got some action shots with Gil Kane. Just showing off just how fluid and dynamic his figures are when he's drawing them. And he has these really angular faces that he's known for here. That is just a classic Gil Kane female face going there next to Morbius. And you've got an excellent story here with this Marvel team up as well with Spider-Man. And when I was growing up, Spider-Man was by far and away my favorite comic book hero. I've got a long box down in the basement that's about yay long that is filled with nothing but Silver Age Amazing Spider-Man. So after that one, you get Spider-Man and Werewolf by Night at Wolf at Bay. He's on the Bay Bridge there in San Francisco. But Gil Kane's not doing the pencils anymore. You have a respectable art being done by Ross Andrew and Don Perlin. They're the artists. And again, you got Jerry Conway doing the scripts. And you got Werewolf by Night. And it's decent. It's not bad. But again, that first one with the X-Men, you got the X-Men, Morbius, and Gil Kane. You're just not going to top that. here in this Marvel Treasury Edition. And then the last one is Ghost Rider. And I've never been a Ghost Rider fan. And this is a reprint of a Marvel team-up with Ghost Rider. And they're going after the Orb, who you see here, who's an evil motorcyclist. It's just, it's weak. I never liked Ghost Rider. The villain in there is pretty weak. And that story is pretty weak. But overall, it's not bad. It's a good collection. The Gil Kane one really puts it over the top. And that's Marvel Treasury Edition number 18. Which brings us to the last of my Marvel Treasury Editions, which is this gem right here, number 4 from 1975. And just look at that beautiful Barry Windsor Smith artwork, original artwork that he did for this magazine here on the back page. Just wonderful. And this is a reprint of 2 Barry Windsor Smith Conan the Barbarian stories. One is the reprint of Rogues in the House, Roy Thomas's adaptation of Rogues in the House, called The Talons of Thak from Conan the Barbarian number 11, with one of my favorite Barry Windsor Smith covers. That you don't get the covers here in these Marvel Treasury Editions. That is one thing you miss, which is a shame because this one is excellent. I really like that cover. And this is issue number 11, because by number 11, Barry Windsor Smith is starting to come into his own as an artist. When he started off with Conan the Barbarian number 1 of the original run of Marvel here, Barry Windsor Smith was a very, I think it's fair to say he was a crude artist. He was imitating Jack Kirby quite a bit. His figures didn't look good. They were frequently out of proportion. They were very stiff, but you could see that there was the rough diamond, the diamond in the rough that he could develop, and he's slowly developing. And by issue number 11 here, he's starting to come into his own, becoming fully mature with his own style and his own look that he's got for his comics, which is just so highly embellished and with such great action. And it comes out here on several of the pages here in the original reprint. This is just an oversized reprint again of issue number 11, especially when he's drawing Thak and Rogues in the House. And let me get to Thak, and then you can see the Barry Windsor Smith showing off his prowess here, where he's really showing off his style. Thak just looks great. That's just an epic panel there of Thak. Love that panel. And then all his other panels when he's drawing Thak, you can see the skill that he has with the facial expressions, his panel layouts. Everything just looks gorgeous. You've got a great fight with the Red Priest's leopard. Beautifully illustrated. Really well done. And it really makes the story come alive. The other story in the back of this is Red Nails. And Red Nails was originally published in Savage Tales numbers 2 and 3. Barry Windsor Smith did Red Nails as well. That was black and white. And they colored it here for this Marvel Treasury Edition. He re-inks a number of the panels. He re-inks several of the pages, getting them closer to what he originally wanted from the original Savage Tales, because he's got time to work on it a little bit here now. So he improves the inks. And there's additional panels that he adds into the Red Nails story in here. And it just becomes one of the best illustrated Red Nails, illustrated Robbie Howard Conan stories that I can think of, with a great adaptation by Roy Thomas. And you just have comic book gold in this issue here, number 4. Look at that. Just wonderful. This is the fully developed Barry Windsor Smith. He's completely at the height of his powers as an artist here. He's completely moved away from just imitating and aping Jack Kirby. He's got his own style, and it is wonderful. And my favorite panels in here, there is one panel in here, though, that is bad. I'll point it out to you guys when I find it. But his best panels in here are when Conan is fighting the dragon, which is a Stegosaurus, a dinosaur, a prehistoric Stegosaurus, which has made it into the Hyborian Age, that has had the head of a Tyrannosaurus Rex transplanted onto it. So there's the head of the Stegosaurus. But it's beautiful. It makes for a wonderful dragon, and it makes for some of the best artwork in this comic book. Here the dragon has treed them, so to speak, up on the top of this bluff, and they are using poisoned apples, just like in the story, in order to fight this dragon. And just wonderful. I love that panel up there Wonderful artwork by Barry Windsor Smith. All these panels are terrific, with the dragon sliding down the slope and causing all the rock slide going down with him. Just gorgeous stuff. And then you get what I think is probably the best panel in this comic book, this whole run on Red Nails, which is right here. So the dragon has been blinded by the poisoned apples, and it's pursued them out onto the plain, and Conan is turned in order to face the dragon, and he's got Valeria, who's gotten in the way. He shoved her out of the way so she won't get run over by the charge. And just look at the positioning, the posing that Barry Windsor Smith does with Valeria as she crashes down onto the ground on her head. The posing is fantastic, and her leg comes up over here to the top, and that top leg brings you to Conan, and then his leg brings you back around to the hand of Valeria, and it makes a circle that goes around, and then you have the main body mass of the panel there with Conan in the center with the sword attacking the dragon. And it is just a wonderful, masterful layout. And that circular positioning of the bodies of Conan and Valeria, that's not an accident. That's Barry Windsor Smith understanding how to keep the reader's eye on what's supposed to be a premiere panel here in this comic book, and it works just to perfection. Love that, love that, love that. From here, they go into the deserted city where you have the main story of Red Nails take place. And what just a great image he's got there of this deserted, haunted, ghost-ridden city that has these two factions that are trying to kill each other. And it's a wonderful story. Of the 4 Marvel Treasury Editions that I have, this is by far and away the best one. It might be the best out of all of them. I haven't read all the others, but this would be a hard one to beat in my book. And surprisingly, they're fairly easy to pick up. They're not very expensive. On eBay, this is going to run you about $20 to $25 because it's a little bit of a forgotten comic book gem. These used to be fairly well known, but they came out back in the 1970s. They stopped making these in 1981. And I think a lot of people don't realize that these things were around. And because they're reprints and they're not the original comics, there's less of a demand for them, and they don't hold and maintain the price as much as a original of these comics would, because they're reprints. So you can pick them up for fairly cheap, like I said, between 20 and 25 bucks. But that is it. Oh, I promised I'd show you guys the worst panel in here. There isn't actually a bad Barry Windsor Smith panel in here. And I'm going to probably pause the video while I find it. Okay, that took me a lot longer to find than I thought. But here you get the worst panel here in Red Nails. And it's this one right there. I don't know what happened with Barry Windsor Smith in that forearm. It looks like he has an alien growing in the top of the forearm there. The musculature kind of went awry on him. But other than this mistake here, I'm not sure what happened. Other than that, this is just a beautiful, beautiful illustrated comic book by a master comic book artist. Here's the burning skull, one of the monsters that one of the groups lets loose on the other in their duel to the death in the city. And just look at this combat here with the burning skull, illustrated by Barry Windsor Smith. And again, just beautifully done. If you can get a hold of this comic, I would highly recommend it. I think it's worth the price. $20 to $25 for it. You get a lot for your money, even by today's standards, and just wonderfully done. And with that, I'm going to wrap this one up, and I'm going to say take care, be safe, and I will catch you guys next time.